think sometimes we get discouraged, we get frustrated thinking, I can't do this. Well, then that would mean he made a mistake in calling you to this path. He doesn't make mistakes. So this is something you can do. And so you gotta have that brought back into the forefront of your thoughts, frontlets before your eyes, recognizing that you can do this, but you also have to recognize that you must do this. There's something that you have obligated yourself to. He didn't obligate you, you obligated you. He got your attention and you said, I want this. And in order to have this, what's the this we all want? Eternal life. Well, in order to have that, we obligate ourselves to the whatever he says we will do. And part of that obligation is to understand that doing what he says is not just obedience. It's for the purpose of the transformative aspect of it, that it changes you. What is your level of intensity of affection vertically? Okay, the spiritual side has to do with you and him. We're gonna have other parts where it's you and others, but this is the you and him part. How much depth of feeling do you have? Because based on the depth of feeling, you're gonna end up with thoughts that lead to actions, that lead to habits, that lead to all kinds of things, right? Because remember, the strongest driver that we have is emotion. But then if you regulate that emotion with thought, you choose, oh, I need to have a high level of affection towards my Creator. How do I go about developing that? How do I go about nurturing that, fueling that? This is a life journey. We're just gonna cover a little bit of it today. Of all the things I'm pointing at, this is probably the one that needs the most attention. Not the spiritual, you guys already get that attention. Your minds aren't strong enough. I'm not just talking to you, me too. Everybody on the planet suffers from weak-mindedness at times. You need to strengthen the mind so that it regulates what the emotions want to do and how the emotions want to respond. I'm not trying to tell you to be like a Vulcan and have no emotions. I want you to be emotional in control, meaning you have made a decision to just have joy to abundance. You've made a decision to just explode in laughter. You made a decision that it's okay to just cry with whatever's going on. In other words, it's not just the emotion just going out there on its own and doing whatever it wants. Your spiritual life should be joyful. If it's not, there's something wrong, something missing, something needs to be worked on, something needs to be fixed. He said he came to fill us to overflowing with joy. He said, I came so your joy may be fulfilled. Not complete, like done away with, but to be brought to the fullness of what it can look like. So if you're not experiencing that, something's missing. Something needs to be worked on. You might need counsel to try to figure out what it is, okay? But you should have that great pleasure, happiness, and sense of well-being in all these different areas. What is your sense of well-being spiritually? What is your sense of well-being physically, financially, mentally, emotionally, relationally, communally? What is the sense of well-being that you have? That's what joy is. Joy is not just I'm happy. Joy is that sense of well-being. All right, so peace is the freedom from disturbance. It's tranquility. Some of you are disturbed in your spirituality. You're concerned, I'm not doing enough, I'm not doing it right, I'm not doing this. Stop being so disturbed. Ask questions like, I wonder if I'm doing it right or wrong, without emotionally getting upset. Examine it, make adjustments. If there's no adjustment to make, keep going, doing what you're doing. But it's the fear, okay, that causes the disturbance. I'm so afraid he's gonna zap me. I'm so afraid he's gonna tell me I can't get in. I'm so afraid I'm not gonna make it. Stop that. You can give us a spirit of fear, sound mind. So if you have fear, you don't have a sound mind. If you have a sound mind, you don't have fear. And so you need that freedom from disturbance. Life would be just so wonderful if everybody just do it the way I know it's supposed to be done, right? But that's never gonna happen. But some of you don't accept that. You still think you can force the world to be the way you need it to be. But it's not gonna happen. Maybe small little pieces of it you can force into whatever, but that's just so limited. Generally speaking, it's not going to happen. You cannot impose that much will on the world. And you know what's really funny? He can and he chooses not to. So why would you do it? He can and chooses not to. You can't and you choose to. That seems very dumb. Seems very unwise and foolish. We can't, but we try. He can and he chose not to. Why did he choose not to? Because it really is a bad idea. It doesn't actually help anything. Anybody ever think about that? He could impose his will on everything and chooses not to. Why? Would it really fix anything or make any difference in that way? No. Anything goes bad, it is what it is. Now I have a choice of what to do with it, but it is. That's the point. It happened. It is. And whatever happened is whatever happened, right? It is what it is. The app got messed up. That is what it is. Now what do? I got to figure out what's the best thing to do proactively to mitigate whatever challenge it's going to cause. But it is what it is. Nothing I can do right now can make it not have happened. Okay? It happened. So it is what it is. If I focus most of my time on my peace being disturbed and not being upset, then I can't do anything positive with what just happened. I can't make it any better. I can't mitigate the negatives. I can't do anything because I'm just angry. So then I can do the worst thing I can do, is not only be angry, I'm going to go call all my friends and get them angry about it too. That's what we all do. We want to have a little pity party and tell everybody, can you believe what so-and-so did to me, or what happened when I called customer service for this thing, and what happened to me with my car, or what happened, and we just want to get everybody angry with you. How about handling it and tell them how great you handled it and the awesome testimony you got because you handled it? Everybody can do all 9 of these aspects when everything's great. You can love those loving you. Yeshua always says, what grace is it? What benefit is it? What favor do you get if you just love those who love you? Anybody could do that. Certainly you can have joy when things are joyful and, in general capacity. Certainly you can have peace when everything's just nobody's disturbing anything. Patience, no problem when everything's going smoothly. How about loving an enemy? Having joy in a trial. Patience when everything's going to you-know-what around you. It's hard. Peace when it's nothing but chaos and tohu and bohu all over the place. Okay? So patience. Now, when it comes to spiritually, sometimes we can be impatient either way, with ourselves or with him. Some of you do get impatient with him. But do you know, again, this is the mental part of it, when you need to be aware that kindness is what's needed here, that gentleness is what's needed here? Do you have the discernment to bring that in? It's an aspect. See, all these things that are aspects of the fruit are not just aspects of the fruit in just naming them, but it's knowing where to apply, when to apply, how to apply them. They're very important that we understand that there's not necessarily the situation that needs kindness is not necessarily the same situation that needs strength, even though it's not one of the aspects here where he says, if you don't listen, I'm going to curse you 7 times more. That doesn't sound very kind, but it was necessary to get attention. When he says, I will chasten you like a father chastens a son. Okay, that doesn't sound very kind either. Nobody wants to be corrected and chastened, so to speak. Because we know a lot of the stuff, but we don't do it. But we know it. We're aware of it. We know it. But we've not yet chosen, right? This is the deliberate preference. That's what goodness is. To do the thing you're supposed to do, okay? It's a deliberate preference. I like the way it's worded that way, right? Deliberately. You, on purpose, with awareness, choose. So you're out and everybody wants to, go and get something, and you know that you have some sort of a health thing where you can't eat certain things, but then somebody orders some great dessert that has that thing in it, and you go, oh, it won't kill me, I'll eat it anyway. That's dumb. But that's weakness that's in you, right? You haven't gotten the strength yet in the mind to overcome the emotion, all these other things that are in here. And so you don't have that deliberate preference to do what you know you need to do, which is what you need to say no to something.